Once upon a time, the alarm clock buzzes loudly, filling the quiet room. Ibadat groans and lazily reaches out to silence it. He pulls the blanket over his head and drifts back to sleep. Meet Ibadat, a young man who finds comfort in sleep more than anything else. While the world starts their day, he continues to dream. He's never in a hurry, because he never really cares. Ibadat, finally awake, sluggishly eats breakfast, glancing at the clock. It's almost noon. He shrugs and takes his time, ignoring the fact that he's late for college again. For Ibadat, life has always been slow. His mornings start late, and so does his day. College isn't a priority, neither are his studies. Each day, it's the same. He's always late, always unmotivated. Ibadat arrives at college hours after his classes have started. He strolls into class, uninterested. His teachers know him well by now. Late again. No explanations. No regrets. As Ibadat slouches in his chair, his teacher, Mr. Rahman, glances at him, concerned. The students around Ibadat are busy with their notes, but Ibadat stares out of the window. Mr. Rahman, a kind and patient teacher, notices Ibadat slipping further away from his potential. He's watched this young man come late, leave early, and pay little attention. The semester flies by, and soon the dreaded day arrives. Ibadat sits in the exam hall, staring blankly at the question paper. His mind draws a complete blank. Time ticks away, and all he can feel is an overwhelming sense of dread. Unprepared, unfocused, and overwhelmed, Ibadat faces his exams like a soldier without armor. And as expected, the result is a disaster. Ibadat sits on his bed, holding his report card. His eyes reflect disappointment and frustration. He tosses it aside and buries his face in his hands.
What's the point? I've failed. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at anything.
For the first time, Ibadat felt something he hadn't before: despair. He stopped going to college altogether, drowning in his failure. He avoided everyone, especially his teachers. Mr. Rahman, sitting at his desk, notices Ibadat hasn't been coming to college. Concerned, he decides to look into it.
Ibadat hasn't been to class for days. This isn't like him. I need to check on him.
Mr. Rahman, after asking Ibadat's friends and neighbors, learns that Ibadat has been isolating himself. Determined, he decides to find him. Mr. Rahman finally spots Ibadat, sitting alone at the edge of an open field, his face cast in the fading sunlight, lost in thought.
Ibadat, what are you doing here?
Ibadat looks up, surprised to see his teacher standing there. His eyes are filled with shame.
Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't want you to see me like this.
Mr. Rahman walks over and sits beside him. There's a moment of silence as the wind gently blows around them.
Why haven't you been coming to college?
Ibadat hesitates, his voice thick with emotion.
I've failed, sir. I can't do it. Every time I try to study, I get tired, I fall asleep. I'm always behind. I'm not like the others. I'm just not good enough.
Mr. Rahman listens patiently, his eyes soft with understanding.
Ibadat, you're not the first person to feel like this. But running away from your problems won't solve them. Everyone has their own pace, but you have to be willing to make the effort.
Ibadat looks down, his hands fidgeting with a piece of grass.
But I don't know where to start, sir. I've messed everything up.
The sky is turning orange as the sun sets behind them. Mr. Rahman places a hand on Ibadat's shoulder, his voice full of warmth.
The important thing is that you start. It's never too late. You can fix this. It will take time and effort, but if you focus a little every day, you'll see improvement. Trust me, I've seen students like you who turned things around. But first, you have to stop being afraid of failure.
Life offers opportunities every day, Ibadat. But those who are too lazy to take the first step will watch those chances pass them by. You may think you're waiting for luck, but luck only comes to those who make an effort. Ibadat's eyes water, but he nods. A small glimmer of hope begins to spark inside him. Mr. Rahman smiling, you're stronger than you think. Ibadat. Let's take this one step at a time. Come back to college. I'll help you with a study plan. You can still change your story. As the night falls, Ibadat and Mr. Rahman walk back together, leaving the field behind. And just like that, a small spark of hope was rekindled. Ibadat knew the journey wouldn't be easy, but with a little help and a lot of patience, he could finally start again. Weeks later, Ibadat sits in the front row, focused and determined. Mr. Rahman teaches at the board, occasionally glancing at Ibadat with a proud smile. With effort and perseverance, Ibadat began to rebuild his academic life. He wasn't perfect, but he was trying, and that made all the difference. Success doesn't come to those who wait idly by. It comes to those who make the effort, step by step, to dig up their own treasure. Failure is not the end, but a step in the journey of learning. With guidance, determination, and support, anyone can rise from their challenges and become better.